Hello and good morning. Oh, I have my YouTube. Something is playing the music. Oh, I have it on my phone. My YouTube was still going. I was like, why am I hearing my own theme song? Good morning, everybody. I hope everybody is having a beautiful start to your day. I did not look at my hair. Anyway, whenever I do my hair like this, I don't know if you guys have seen Trailer Park Tammy on social media. Um, That's who I feel like when my hair is slicked back. That and Eileen Warnos are the only two people that I associate with their hair like this. Okay, a little bit better. Anyway, good morning. Yeah, Trailer Park Tammy is why I don't wear like cut off sleeve shirts and put my hair back. And but God, I love her. She's hilarious. The girl that came up with that is so funny. Anyway, today is Thursday, June 20th, 2024, and today is also my 41st birthday and the first day of summer. And it has been hot as shit in Texas. So I am not looking forward to the rest of the summer at all whatsoever. And I appreciate you guys so very much coming in and saying happy birthday. Um, Roel was the first person to say happy birthday. He posted on social media like an hour ago. He's so sweet. So for once, I don't have 60 videos saved. I have like 35. So we'll see how many we can get through this morning. Okay, hold on. I am not there yet. Calm down, News Nation. Anyway, so let's see. Man, I'm tired. I can't wait to go to Starbucks and get my free Starbucks drink. Anyway. Oh, yours is tomorrow? That's awesome. Happy birthday. Yeah, so June 20th is normally the cutoff for Gemini. Some places I see June 21st. So I don't know if you ever have issues with people being like, you're not a Cancer, you're this, whatever. I've had people argue with me that I'm not a Gemini. When I told them I'm a Gemini, they're like, are you sure? I was in my 30s at that point. Like, yeah, I'm pretty sure. Thank you. I hate that shit. Nothing annoys me more when people try to correct me on something that I absolutely know. Like, my own birthday. All right. So, some of you may be familiar with Sarah Boone. Sarah Boone is on trial for murder of her boyfriend. He was found in a suitcase, and she has gone through seven attorneys. She is on her eighth attorney and is now complaining about the eighth attorney, saying she has a bad attitude. So clearly, this is abuse of the system, I think, because Sarah's trying to keep pushing stuff by switching attorneys. I feel like this is a semi-common tactic. In our situation, Austin's murderer went through five attorneys, I think. But I digress. Here we go. Here's the video.
Well, I want to bring in Mark Nejame. He is a criminal defense attorney in Florida. He does not mouth, so he is going to speak with me about this. Good to see you again, Mark. Thank you for doing the show. I just wanted to get your reaction. Have you ever heard of anybody spinning through, well, 7 and now maybe 8, who knows, before they're actually going on a murder case?
Hey, Ashley. I think this may be a Guinness Book record.
Bizarre.
You sometimes see it in private cases, not as many as this, but when people can afford it, they often are looking for a lawyer who tells them what they want to hear. In this particular case, I've looked through some of the lawyers that have represented her, and some are excellent lawyers. Trish Cashman is an excellent lawyer. I've been doing this a long time. But you can't put up with the client's nonsense. And I think it sounds like people have been telling her what she's looking at, what the facts are, the evidence are against her, and she doesn't want to hear it.
Maybe they're saying, girl, you have a plea bargain and not much else. So, I mean, she doesn't want to hear it, possibly. So I want to read what Sarah Boone told the judge on Friday. This is a quote. Everyone constantly blames me. Why I am now on attorney number 8. I am not the reason for any of them.
Okay, so like this is not a funny situation at all, but like this is kind of funny. The reporter had me cracking up saying, "Girl, you got a plea deal." Everybody constantly blames me why I am now on attorney number 8. I am not the reason for any of them. If you're on number 8, you might be the problem. Just say it. If it happens once, maybe twice, by the third time I'm suspicious. But 8, it's you. I'm pretty sure it's you.
At what point, Mark, does a judge have to force a lawyer to stay on the case? Because I have seen it before, and I've always been shocked. But at what point does a judge have to say, you have no choice, you have to defend this woman?
It really becomes a challenge at times, simply because if a lawyer cannot provide effective assistance of counsel, they have an ethical obligation to get out of the case if they do not believe they can render the type of representation that all defendants are entitled to. In this particular case, and lawyers are allowed to fire their clients. I fired many. You have to be able to control the case, not let the case control you. And she's likely not wanting to hear what people have to tell her. She's in a difficult position. If she takes a stand, then this personality that we've all seen is not going to be the most endearing and great likelihood to a jury. On the other hand, if she doesn't take the stand, what the jury's going to hear is this horrific tape and hear her voice, and that'll be all that they hear about her, taunting her deceased boyfriend, who was, scratching and clawing his way trying to get out of the suitcase.
It makes my stomach turn when I see the tape, and if I were a juror, I would hate her immediately before anybody did a closing summation. So, real quickly, what do you see? And I know you're not inside the entire case, you don't have but we sure have a mountain of it. We've seen a lot. Do you think, Mark Nejame, in your estimation, that her only shot here is a plea?
Depends on what the plea is. You're looking at 25 years. You're looking at 30 years with a minimum of 16 years and 3/4, I believe, in Florida on second-degree murder. So if she's getting anything less than 30 years and somewhere between 16 and 3/4, she needs to seriously think about that. I suspect that's what her lawyers have told her, that you might want to work out a plea here, because there does not seem to be a lot of sympathy that's going to attach to her. And she doesn't want to hear the fact that she's looking at a 30-year sentence if she goes to trial. And the jurors hear this really horrific statements and comments that she was making about her dying boyfriend.
There is a reason why I have stuck with you for over 20 years, since Casey Anthony. It's because you're smart and you're great at this, and you're not on the show enough. So I'm going to book you again, and I hope you'll say yes.
I miss you. Yes.
All right. Thanks, Mark Nejame. See you soon. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your...
This is the case where she put her excuses, her boyfriend, it was a joke or something. Is that what it is? Sarah Boone suitcase. I don't like being wrong. Yeah, okay. So, yes, she zipped him in the suitcase and then filmed his suffering. That's what I thought. So the victim in this case, his name is Jorge. I'm assuming it's Jorge because his last name is Torres. Could be George. But yeah, so he was the victim in this situation. Yeah, I definitely doesn't seem like a very sympathetic defendant, especially if you're gonna. So yeah, she went upstairs and left him there, and then I remember she called the police the next day. So this happened in February of 2020. So the family has been waiting 4.5 years for justice, and this is one of the reasons why, because defendants play games like this, and then they're able to keep the trial, push it out. And I can honestly say when a case keeps getting reset and a trial keeps getting pushed back, it's cruel. It's cruel to the victims' families. I know multiple families that are going on almost 5 years waiting for trial, and then they go to court each time that there is something. Even the ADA will tell them, oh, nothing's going to happen. It's just going to be reset. But the families still go. The families that can go, because not everybody can take off work. Not everybody has a sympathetic employer. I've actually had multiple people tell me that after their loved one was murdered, they've had issues at their job. Some people have been fired, some people have been written up. It's a whole thing. But I could go off in a whole rant on the aftermath and what delaying trials does to families. But when I attend court with some of these families and the case gets reset, it's you see what it does to them. It's like they're composed while they're in court. They're anticipating that something's going to happen. They have to look the person that murdered their loved one in the face and in court. They prepare for that. But the second they walk out the courtroom doors, knowing that it's been delayed again, it's just like you see something drain out of them. I don't know how to explain it, but there's a profound difference when they leave that courtroom, and it's cruel to do that to them over and over and over and over for years. 4.5 years, 5 years. To me, this is unacceptable. And I know that people have rights and they do appeals and all that stuff, but when do we draw the line with people using strategies to play the system? And I know that's what defense attorneys do. That's their job, but yeah, it makes me it makes me very upset. If you are in New York, if you are a 90s kid, if you listen to hip hop, then you probably know who Remy Ma is. Remy Ma, I would say, was probably most known in the 90s. In the early 2000s, she went to prison because she shot, I think it was her assistant. I'm trying to remember. Was it her assistant? She shot somebody over money. Somebody that took money from her, a couple thousand, and she went to prison for 6 years and served 4, or it was 8 and she served 6. My memory is fantastic. Steel trap. Anyway, her son shot one of his friends a couple years ago and has now been arrested for murder. You would think that he would have learned from his mother's mistake. Unfortunately not. And somebody like Remy Ma, like, you have a leg up in the industry. She is a legend. And in New York especially, her and Papoose, like, and you're going to go around shooting people? That is not... Remy Ma, can you adopt me? Papoose, I'll be your kid. Like, I can't rap, but anyway. So I have a video about that, and it just makes me really sad that he ruined his life over probably some bullcrap.
I'm Steve Lacey.
And I'm Natasha Verma. 23-year-old Jason Scott has been arrested in connection to a murder in Queens that dates back to 2021. Investigators are looking into the possibility that it was a murder for hire.
All right, Fox 5's Teresa Priolo joins us live from Astoria where the victim lived. Teresa, what can you tell us?
Yeah, Steve and Natasha, residents I spoke to here, they didn't know the victim, but they do know who Remy Ma is, and they're telling us that they hope her celebrity doesn't play into this case. Tonight, we are learning that that victim was allegedly killed by Remy Ma's son, Jace Scott. So here's what we know at this hour. 23-year-old Scott was arrested today on first-degree murder and weapons charges. It's unclear if he pulled the trigger or if he hired the hit that took the life of Darius Gilbo, who lived here at the Ravenswood houses in Astoria. The crime occurred nearby in broad daylight back in 2021. Gilbo took hits to the head and to the chest. Gilbo had an extensive criminal history. 8 months before he was killed, he was indicted in a massive drug trafficking operation. As for Jace Scott, he appeared alongside his mom, Remy Ma, in the hit show Love and Hip Hop. She's one of the biggest names in hip hop and has been since 2006. She also has something of a lengthy rap sheet and has done 6 years in prison on a gun crime. But none of that mattered to the folks that we talked to here in Astoria.
It doesn't matter if it's a celebrity or not. If you commit a crime, you're supposed to be paid for the crime you committed.
It could be anybody. It doesn't matter. You know, if they're, their mother's famous or father's, it doesn't matter.
We got the police station on the corner. We got sanitation. So not too many things happening here. They happen around here, but not in here. It's really difficult.
We received a statement from Remy Ma's attorney about Jace Scott. That came in late this afternoon. They said that Remy Ma hoped to publicly address this. She's been advised not to, so they told us, quote, nevertheless, Remy Ma is committed to proving Jason's innocence and supporting her child during this time. We stand by Jason's innocence and hope the NYPD will conduct a complete and thorough investigation to reveal the truth. Now, back out here live, we should also tell you that a second man, a man by the name of Richard Swigert, was also arrested and charged with murder and weapons charges. Steve and Natasha, it's unclear what led to this, if there was any relationship between these guys before this murder happened. We can tell you that we are expecting Scott to be arraigned early next week. That's the latest from
I hope he didn't hire somebody, because that would be really dumb. What do you need to kill somebody for? There's plenty of people in this world that I would love to smack, but to take somebody's life is just so final. There's not very many people in the world that I would wish death upon, like Notorious B.I.G. said, there's death, there's no coming back from that. When they were talking to him about Tupac, he said he didn't want that because there's no coming back from death. And I agree. You can have beef, you can have issues with people, but you don't necessarily want death to happen to someone. Anyway. So, do you guys remember the lady that faked her kidnapping a couple years ago? Her whole kidnapping hoax. Sherry Papinin, Sherry. Anyway, so her ex-husband now is talking out about what happened for the first time. He did his first interview with ABC News.
Now to an ABC News exclusive interview with Keith Papini, the ex-husband of Sherry Papini, the California mom who faked her own abduction and lied about it for 6 years. He's speaking out for the first time since her arrest. Chief National Correspondent Matt Gutman sat down with him. Good morning again, Matt.
Hey, good morning, Michael. When I first interviewed Keith nearly 8 years ago, he was a man who was shattered by her disappearance. Now he is a man who had been shattered by that hoax. And I asked him why he did this docuseries. He told me to try to get the truth out, to tell people he had no idea about her plan, and that the biggest victims of that hoax was her own family.
Heyo. Heyo. She made us all believe that her story was true. Every single day she committed to the lie.
He was the husband at the center of a kidnapping hoax that captivated the country.
The search for a missing mom in California. Sherry Papini vanished Wednesday while jogging near her home.
Now Keith Papini, after 7 years of silence, is sitting down with GMA, revealing new details about how his wife Sherry faked her own disappearance, lied to authorities, and claimed that she'd been kidnapped by 2 Hispanic women.
The hoax didn't just last the 22 days that she had disappeared. It lasted for
years, 6 years.
And every single day. And that's what people don't realize. It was every single day.
In the new Hulu documentary series, Perfect Wife, Keith recounts the years-long saga. What made you want to sit down and revisit all of that?
I wanted to get the truth out there and really wanted to let everybody know like how convincing Sherry was all those years and how I believed everything that she was telling me.
In 2016, the California mother of two vanishing after going for a jog. The frantic 22-day search for Sherry began with Keith's 911 call.
I'm like totally freaking out, thinking like somebody grabbed her.
As the husband, Keith was the first person police questioned in her disappearance, but he passed a polygraph test. You say that you were living this perfect life. There were cracks. She was telling other people that you were abusive. She told friends that you'd kill her if she ever left you. Are those allegations true?
Oh, of course not. Those allegations hurt, they're painful.
Did you ever physically or mentally abuse her?
Never.
Keith helping lead the search, but without any luck. Then, on Thanksgiving Day, Sherry turned up on the side of a highway.
Are you chained up? Yes. Okay.
Shackled, bruised, and branded. And when we interviewed Keith right after it happened in 2016, he broke down.
She literally lived through hell.
But now he says even then, there was doubt. When you first encountered her in the hospital, what was your first instinct?
When I pulled back the curtain and I saw her and I saw the look in her eyes, I felt in that moment that she was lying. And it wasn't until when I really got close and I could just see the amount of injuries, bruises, burns to her body. And it was a shock to me. And I remember thinking how horrible of me to even think that she could have done this to herself.
For years, authorities searched for her supposed Hispanic captors.
The amount of fear that our family lived in that was fake is excruciating. I mean, the security at our house, new doors, new locks, new lights, new cameras.
Then, in August of 2020, trace DNA found on Sherry led authorities to her former boyfriend, James Reyes, who they say helped Sherry carry out her plan. He passed a polygraph and has never been charged with a crime. Investigators confronting Sherry about her hoax, Keith right there.
I don't know. No, there's no way it's James. There's no way. There's no way.
The DNA doesn't lie.
But it wasn't until 19 months later, in March of 2022, that Sherry was finally arrested, later convicted of lying to a federal officer and serving 10 months in prison. She apologized in court. But has Sherry ever apologized to you or the children?
No, never. She has no remorse that I have ever witnessed or seen.
Do you still talk to her?
I do not talk to Sherry at all. It's very difficult for me.
Why do you think that she essentially concocted this hoax, disappeared, beat herself to a pulp for 22 days, and then continued to lie about it for years?
I think she wanted me to be her knight in shining armor and run to her, and I think that she wanted to plan a fake kidnapping, but in her version, I was supposed to find her.
And Keith says the ordeal still haunts him. Do you think you'll ever be able to get out from under the shadow of the Sherry Papini hoax?
I think it's always going to be there. We do want to move past it. I do want to provide my children, an amazing childhood. But I think it'll always be there.
We reached out to Sherry and her ex-boyfriend, James Reyes, for comment. Neither of them responded. We understand that Sherry does have a new boyfriend now, and Keith says that she told their kids that she's now authoring 2 children's books. And when asked Keith, is he happier now, he says no, but he is healing, and he's trying to offer his kids the best childhood he can. Guys.
What a psycho.
All right, Matt, the whole thing is just unbelievable.
Yeah.
Wow.
Still so many questions, too, about the case.
Perfect wife.
Like, Papini. That makes me giggle. Oh, my gosh. My cat is being a menace. So, yesterday, this cat She is only 6.5 pounds. She's pretty tiny. The vet said that she is petite. She's had all of her tests done. Her blood work and thyroid and stuff is totally normal. But because she's tiny, we don't always see her. And she likes to get under our feet. So yesterday, my roommate was eating some chocolate chips. We're watching a movie, and he paces sometimes when he's doing stuff. And he steps on the cat's paw. The cat reacts and runs, but then she runs under his other foot, and he steps on her leg. And I hear the cat, and then I hear him react, and I'm like, what did you do? And I didn't mean it to sound like I was upset at him, but my first reaction is I need to know what happened. Is the cat okay? And I don't know if the cat reacted because I yelled or I was so upset, but the cat is limping and she immediately takes off and goes and hides under Chris's bed. And I'm freaking out. I'm like, oh my God, she's got a broken leg. She has to be really hurt. She's hiding. Oh my God. And we got her out. She's fine. she's totally fine. So thank you for that last night and upsetting everybody. And my poor roommate's like, I'm gonna move out of this house. And I'm like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to yell at you. But yeah, that was my night last night. I'm very dramatic when it comes to my animals. Because I needed to know immediately. Like, even though I hurt my knee, I was like down on the ground under, like, I'm like, I don't care that this hurts. I need to get my baby. Oh, thank you, kitten, for that. Had my blood pressure up last night. And so we were talking about, in the comments about, Hispanic people being blamed for some of this stuff and the illegal immigrant issue for crime being a little inflated with some stuff, but are there some immigrants that are causing issues? Yes, there are, for sure. I'm not even going to deny that that's happening. I can't say that every person that's coming over here is doing it for, good reasons. But it's not, the issue isn't specifically these immigrants that are coming over. Because like Houston, for example, I pay very close attention to the crime stats and what's happening. And I can assure you that the majority of our crime issues are homegrown. Do we need to control immigration for safety? Yeah, I agree with that. But yeah, so I just wanted to say that because the next story is about poor Rachel that was murdered by somebody that shouldn't have been in the country. He was supposed to have, not been here, and he's tied to some other cases. So I have an update from News Nation about that. He's awaiting extradition to Maryland right now.
Let's get out to News Nation senior correspondent Laura Engel, who is live outside Baltimore with some exclusive new details in that Rachel Morin case. Laura, we know police now have a suspect in custody. You are there live along the trail, and you also have exclusive reaction from Rachel's family.
We do. Hi, Nicole. I am actually standing right at the entrance of the Ma and Pa Heritage Trail. This is a very popular hiking and running trail in this area in the Bel Air sector outside of Baltimore. And this is the trail that Rachel Morin took on August 5th of 2023 when somebody took her life as she was about a mile in there. And as we've been talking about the arrest of the suspect on late Friday night, 23-year-old Victor Martinez Hernandez, who came across the border illegally, according to investigators, has been charged. He was found in Tulsa, Oklahoma, as we've been reporting. And now the battle has been on of who gets him first, because he is accused of a murder in El Salvador in early of last year. He is accused of a home invasion and attacking a 9-year-old little girl and her mother in Los Angeles at the beginning of last year. Then there's this big gap of time where we don't know where he was or what he was doing until August of last year, where he's now accused in the brutal rape and murder of Rachel Morin here along this hiking trail. We have just learned from local authorities, Nicole, that he has waived his extradition. He was arrested in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Everybody's been wondering who he's going to go to first, and we've just learned that he's waived that extradition. That means that within the next 10, possibly more days, he could be coming here and he will be facing charges in the state. And that is exactly where people want him here that are connected to this case. That is exactly where the loved ones of Rachel Morin want him to be held accountable first. Before he is held on anything else, they want him to answer to those charges. Earlier today, I have been speaking with the father of Rachel Morin's oldest daughter. His name is Matt McMahon. Here's what he told me about the suspect.
He's just a horrible person that needs to never set foot into a free world again. He needs to be behind bars his whole life, and I want him to live a very long life and hate every single second of that long life.
All right, so we've also learned from local authorities that once the extradition is taken care of, the suspect will be brought back here and he will be held at a detention facility that's actually very close to this running trail. And I asked some details about how he was going to be held and where. He will be held in this facility that holds about 300 other inmates, and it is a minimum and maximum security facility. And then we'll get on to the court dates. But as you mentioned, and as we've been talking about, the immigration status is so important. And we've learned from our border correspondent, Allie Bradley, that there are multiple offenses of him crossing over our border multiple times. It does appear as though he came through in the El Paso sector. So we'll get some more reporting on that as we move along with these rapidly moving developments in this case. But a relief to the family members and loved ones of Rachel Morin that somebody has been caught. But of course, the question of why and how, why did this happen, and how long when he was on the loose, did he do anything else? Are there other victims out there? DNA, a very critical part of this investigation, and a hat tip to everyone involved, because we know that there was a lot of legwork that went into this. A lot of multi-agencies worked together to bring the suspect into custody in Tulsa, Oklahoma. So now we wait. Nicole.
Yeah. Well, Laura, speaking of that DNA, I mean, how were police able to connect somebody wanted in California to this killing in Maryland and then make an arrest in Oklahoma?
So interesting, right? Because when you're talking about this suspect, we're talking about somebody who doesn't have, a driver's license, a passport, a birth certificate here, no fingerprints. There was no record of this guy. So what we have learned is it was a tip that was called in that led investigators to a location where the suspect was believed to have been recently. They found some belongings of his. They checked it for DNA, and then that's when things matched up, because there's only two types of DNA that's really held when it comes to CODIS and that law enforcement system. It's people who have committed offenses, and then there's that unknown DNA from crime scenes that has to be checked. So it is our understanding that that's how everything went down. It came up as a match after that important tip. And I do want to mention one other thing, Nicole, that the loved ones of Rachel Morin are telling us that they hope by us telling this story, by continuing to report on what's going on right now, that more people will come forward about this suspect, about Victor Martinez Hernandez, because there's a lot more that could have happened in these last few months about where he's been, what states and jurisdictions he's been at, what other kind of crime scenes might he be connected to. All of that needs to be checked out.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find News Nation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe.
Anyway. Yeah, I don't know what the solution is. It's definitely causing issues. I really don't know. It's tough to do things legally. It's expensive. I saw the other day that someone's trying to get one of their family members over and doing the normal process. It's been 6 years, and people are desperate in some areas, but we can't also trust that everybody coming over is coming over for the right reasons. One of the issues is that people are coming into other countries specifically for a crime. That is a thing, but it's like crime tourism, and that's happening everywhere. That is happening internationally. I had shared some stories of people that were coming over to the United States and breaking into people's homes and stealing stuff and then flying back out. So that is actually happening in Britain too, that people are flying in from other countries and shoplifting and then leaving. So there are issues with that, but a lot of the people that are doing this didn't even come over the wrong way. They're literally flying over like they're tourists, and they know that they're not going to be hunted down internationally over shoplifting and theft charges. It's yeah, I don't know what the heck is going on in the world. I think that once buy my house, I'm going to reinforce it like The Purge. That's my plan. I'm just going to reinforce my house like The Purge and get ready, because I don't know what the hell is happening. I haven't talked about the world turning into The Purge in a while. So yeah, I have a video from the UK talking about the issues with these people flying to other places and stealing.
Masked, wielding machetes and looting cigarettes in a co-op in West Yorkshire. This is what retailers say they're up against, stealing to order with criminal gangs reaping the rewards.
You know, it can be anything, anything they can use to get as many products into their bags or baskets or clothing as possible. In this incident, it's two prolific shoplifters that we have in the Leeds area across multiple stores, coming in completely intoxicated on some form of drug.
In this small store in Leeds alone, there are dozens of thefts every week.
I think you learn what people...
Store manager David has himself been attacked by a looter.
And there was a couple of women obviously ransacking our shop. As I was stood by the door and she was leaving with her multiple bags of items, she's dropped one of the bags, lunged at me and scratched my scalp down to my forehead and really dug her nails in, creating some large cuts across my face.
Co-op has taken extraordinary measures, fortifying kiosks, locking items in boxes, limiting the amount of goods on display. And some shop staff are trained to restrain suspected shoplifters. But they have to release almost half of those detained when the police fail to turn up.
So my colleague in the store in London, on a number of occasions, is ringing in because three masked men armed are coming in, breaching the kiosk and stealing vapes, alcohol, etc. The last time she rang it in, she was told, "We won't get there," by the police handler. "We won't get there in time. So the next time, can you ring this on 101? 101 is the non-emergency line."
This terrifying incident took place at another Co-op store last year. Co-op says that closer working with police as part of the government's new retail crime action plan is making a difference. But boss Paul Gerard says there's still some way to go.
Since the action plan, though the police are now turning up 6 times out of 10 where we detained. That's a real improvement. We're really pleased with that. Still 4 times out of 10 we're letting people go.
Intelligence gathered by the National Police Chiefs Council shows foreign organised crime groups are increasingly targeting the UK.
We think there are individuals who will travel to the UK specifically to commit retail crime and on occasions fly in the morning and then fly out in the afternoon, with bags of goods. So the demographic is very different to probably how the police have seen retail crime in the last few years, and probably different to how the public would perceive it as well.
I mean, is that a miss then, that the police haven't been sort of hotter onto shoplifting? Because actually it's linked into so many other more serious crimes.
Yeah, I think it's a difficult one because the police have a finite amount of resources. They have to focus on the highest threat, harm and risk that would cause the public. So, but it's absolutely clear that people are seeing the UK as potentially a bit of a soft target.
The challenge is enormous. Last year, shoplifting hit a record high in England and Wales, with more than 430,000 offences recorded by police. And each year, Co-op loses £70 million to shoplifting, despite spending £40 million on security measures, including this centre run by Mighty.
This is Mighty Security Operations Centre. The store is being monitored for your safety and security.
From here, staff have eyes on up to 2,400 stores across the UK. As well as responding to live incidents, they look for patterns of behaviour and pass intelligence on to police.
When the shoplifter has gone, he's gone to the fridge, lifted the wine. The colleagues have pressed their incident support button. We're able to link into the cameras and then we can intervene by calling police. We can accelerate that whole process by doing a live announcement into the store to say, this is the time, this is the date. We know you're wearing X, Y and Z. Can you please stand off? Police are on their way.
The Conservatives say they'll recruit 8,000 more police officers and toughen sentences for those who assault retail workers. Labour's manifesto pledged more officers to tackle shoplifting gangs by ensuring police investigate even if less than £200 has been stolen. Jason Taus leads Mighty's security operation.
What will really change is when we start to see a better response from police as the police funds are invested in the right areas, when we're starting to see the benefits of the sharing of intelligence.
The picture you're painting, it sounds like the police have lost control of this.
So I think if you're asking the question is it too little too late? I don't think it is. I don't think it's ever too little too late. Could we have made some of these interventions quicker? I was definitely calling for more intervention.
And if this is the Wild West, staff are on the front line. Assaulting a shop worker was due to become a separate criminal offence in England and Wales, but the election was called before it could become law. Retailers are now waiting for the new government to act.
So it looks like police response and uptick in theft and stuff, it's definitely not just an issue in the United States. This is becoming an international issue. We've seen videos of Australia and other areas in Europe with stuff like this. And we've also seen an uptick in teenagers committing more and more violent crime. I don't know what is causing all these things. I don't know if the combination of like COVID and the economy and all this other stuff. I'd be very interested to talk to like a professional that could explain to me what they think is going on in society, like somebody that's in sociology or something like that. But anyway, good morning, Debbie. Thank you for being here. Thank you guys so much for being here. I really much appreciate you. Yeah, Aaron, police response for things that are not life or death suck. So like stolen bikes, they don't care. Oh, I just remembered that I have 2 forms that I've needed to fill out for like a week. So I'm just going to set an alarm so I don't forget later. Because I need to do it today. I participated in a study about the impact of true crime, and I have to sign a paper so they can use my actual name, and I have not done it yet. They initially sent me an email when I was traveling for CrimeCon, and then I told them like 2 days ago I would do it before Friday, so it's still not Friday. So another story that is not helping my immigrants aren't the core problem narrative, because my next story is also about somebody who should not be in the country and has been kicked out. You probably saw me sharing, I have a thread on my Twitter where they arrested the guy in New York that had sexually assaulted a 13-year-old girl, tied up the male classmate, made him watch. It's actually coming out that he recorded it as well. I'm hoping that he never got the opportunity to share it, that it doesn't go anywhere. But he was arrested, thankfully. He was identified.
But first to our Eric Shawn and the brand new migrant arrest in New York City that the NY.
I said pause. Anyway, the one thing that gives me a little teensy bit of hope in the story is that a bunch of New Yorkers worked together to get this man caught and arrested. There was a Crime Stoppers reward out there to help capture him, and I mean, not capture, but a tip that would get him arrested. So this 25-year-old, I think he was 25, so pretty young, I think, that remembered that guy, he had seen that guy before. He had seen him in the neighborhood. He went into the store a lot. So the guy came back around, and him and some other people called the police, and then they subdued him. I'm not upset that they got some punches in. A woman put him in a headlock. It's really a beautiful, beautiful thing to hear people come together to capture somebody that did something so horrible. So I think that also ties into people are tired. Somebody had mentioned in the chat, I think it was Carrie, that we're going to see more people defending themselves, and they will, because the police aren't responding. And that's why I mentioned the purge. Like, eventually it's just going to be the purge. Good morning, Phoenix and Jersey Jen. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate you. Yes, my 21st. That was 20 years ago. Oh God, I'm so old now. Anyway, so here's this video now.
IPD is talking about. Eric?
Yeah, so John, that news conference breaking just now. An illegal immigrant from Ecuador arrested, apprehended, under arrest, suspected of sexually assaulting, as you said, a teenage girl in a New York City park last week. A police source says this photo shows 25-year-old Christian Giovanni Ingolandi being taken into custody after neighbors who recognized him from his wanted posters pounced on Landy. They held him until police arrived in the early hours this morning. Landy is accused of threatening two teens, a girl and a boy, both 13 years old, after pulling a machete-style knife and then forcing them into a secluded area of the woods in a park in the New York City borough of Queens. That's where police say he used a shoelace to bound their hands together before Landy allegedly sexually assaulted the young girl. Despite the traumatic experience, the teens were able to describe this distinctive animal tattoo that you can see in the police sketch that they described to the police sketch artist. That tattoo seems to match the animal tattoo seen on Landy's chest. Authorities say Landy lives in a nearby men's shelter, and sources say he illegally crossed the border near Eagle Pass, Texas, that busy spot, in 2021. Landy does have an arrest record, mainly for low-level offenses. Former NYPD detective and New York Republican Senate candidate Mike Scaparone is calling for a migrant crime task force. He says that's needed to focus on illegals.
We're talking about people who have committed crimes, people who are here illegally. We should be scrutinizing what they do. You're right. We scrutinize mobsters. We scrutinize recidivist people. Not enough. We need to start scrutinizing the recidivists more and more and more, and we'll stop the crime.
Well, Sacramento and police are praising those teen victims for having the state of mind and the composure to describe the different elements that they saw, that tattoo, and other details of this horrific crime to police. That suspect, again, right now in custody, has been processed. The news conference ongoing about those details. John, back to you.
All right, Eric Sean Force leading us off. Thank you, Eric. Sandra?
And we're going to get right in for that now on the migrant arrested in the broad daylight assault of that 13-year-old girl. This is the chief of the detectives on the ongoing investigation. Let's see if we can pick up some more details from Joe Kenny here. Listen.
District Attorney's Office, but the charges are going to be as follows. For our female victim, rape, sex abuse, robbery in the first degree, menacing, unlawful imprisonment, kidnapping, endangering the welfare of a child, and possession of a weapon. For the male victim, robbery in the first degree, menacing, criminal possession of a weapon, unlawful imprisonment, kidnapping, endangering the welfare of a child. I'd like to thank Chris Lapolis and all of Special Victims for their efforts in bringing this case to a successful conclusion. Thank you.
question. Dean Moses in New York. Could you go into a little more detail about the actual apprehension of the fugitive residents? What did they do? Who are they? Were they a resident of the shelter?
So they're local residents from right on that block there. Like I said, we, through social media, through the help with you guys, that picture was out there. That sketch was plastered everywhere. Everybody knew who we were looking for. Like I said, we had tips coming in actually naming the perpetrator. So they knew who he was. When they saw him out on the street, they tried to detain him. They called 911. He began to fight back as the community was trying to retain him, and he suffered some minor injuries while the community was holding him.
Hey everyone,
Good.
I'm Emily Compa.
I'm not mad at that. But yes, I'm very proud of New York. Like I said, it gives me some hope because there's so much bad stuff that's going on. So to know that there's people out there that would willingly put themselves in danger to capture someone that hurt children, gives me the warm and fuzzies. But yeah, what happened to those children will impact them for the rest of their lives. So he should be locked away forever. And I do agree that New York probably does need a migrant task force because New York has hotels that they're putting these migrants in. So there's like a concentrated amount of them. And anywhere that you have a concentrated amount of people, there's going to be more crime. So yeah, in those cases, the immigrants would be causing more crime, but anyway. I do think people need help, and I feel so bad for people coming over. I am a daughter of a Cuban immigrant that came over during all the stuff that was going on in Cuba. I have very mixed feelings about immigration, so I don't want to get into that too much. But of course, my main concern is going to be us. I want to help everybody, but we are running out of resources and it's causing issues. But it's like, what is the solution? What is the solution? Clearly, us trying to stop people coming is not working. We need a moat like a castle. If we were an island, it would be so much easier. Anyway, so there is a crime ring that is stealing and selling Legos. Legos, like the little, which is wild. Anything, if it exists, there's a black market for it, I promise.
Criminals appear to have a hot new target, Legos. Police in Southern California have made several recent major busts, recovering thousands of stolen Lego sets. Authorities say it could be more lucrative for criminals to steal Lego merchandise on a continual basis than it is to break into a jewelry store. ABC's Kana Whitworth has the latest.
A look inside the lucrative theft ring surrounding Lego. In Southern California, brazen break-ins caught on camera at two hobby shops.
He just knows exactly where to go and what to grab that's the easiest, the quickest, and the most valuable to us.
High demand, high value. The Los Angeles Police Department investigating this Lego theft ring for 7 months, uncovering an organized operation, a house full of high-priced and collector's items Lego, still in the box and ready for resale online. In this Long Beach home, detectives recovering more than 2,800 boxes of Lego toys, ranging in value from $20 to more than $1,000 each. 2 people arrested.
They have a collector's vibe associated with them.
And the California Highway Patrol Organized Retail Crime Task Force also arresting 4 suspects after recovering more than $200,000 in Lego merchandise stolen from various retailers across Southern California.
It was definitely a surprise to find that many Legos. I think it was over 3,000 Lego boxes, I think, that we found.
And in Davis, California, these images from police, more than $80,000 in merchandise, mostly Lego sets, recovered in May. That led to 2 more arrests.
If you find them in secondhand stores, or if you find them being sold on the street, you might want to think twice before purchasing them.
And it's really good advice because, Stephanie, authorities say that while they were investigating the thefts, they saw several potential buyers show up at the residence in question looking to buy those stolen Lego sets. Stephanie?
My question is, was anybody making the sets? Was anybody working on a set? Interesting.
I like that that's her question. She's like, were they actually building them? I'm going to need specific examples of which ones are $1,000. We're going to look into that. Lego sets that are $1,000. Lego sets. You know what I want? They have Jurassic Park ones. Holy shit. Yeah, you're right. It's what Star Wars ones. Of course, a Ghostbusters one is. Wow. Yeah, so there's actually a $1,500 one on Amazon. Also, pro tip, don't buy stuff that's that expensive on Amazon. Because, yeah, I don't trust Amazon that much. But, man, like, the Firehouse, when did this come out? I should have bought this when it came out. $949. It's 4,634 pieces. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. That's insane. Wow. I mean, I guess it's worth, you know, whatever people pay. You know, it's only worth what people actually pay, not the prices that you put. Man, but people are buying the Star Wars ones. Got 218 reviews. 238 on the Ghostbusters one. Wow. And I would totally want that. That makes me sad. It's pretty cool too. It's got Slimer and these little ghosts. This is totally the first Ghostbusters. I don't know if the entire link will fit in the chat if y'all want to look at it. But like if I got something like that, I would never want to open it because it's worth so much money. Yeah, it broke up the link. Oh well. Y'all can look for it. Hi, Dina. Good morning. Anyway, yeah, Legos. But yeah, if there's something of value, people will make a black market for them. I'm sure that there was probably a black market for Beanie Babies and things like that. And so now we're going to watch a video that is a little recap of the Karen Read trial with the defense expert talking.
John O'Keefe was bitten by a dog before he died. That's the opinion of a medical doctor hired by Karen Read's lawyers.
Investigative reporter Ted Daniel is covering Read's murder trial in Dedham. As he explains, Read's defense wants the jury to hear the dog bite theory.
There are two competing theories in this case. The prosecution says Karen Read killed John O'Keefe in a drunken hit and run in Canton. The defense says O'Keefe was beaten to death and attacked by a dog, but they need the judge's permission to let their expert say that.
I didn't say that.
I take offense at the court's tone that yes, you did say that.
Defense attorney Alan Jackson bickers with Judge Beverly Canoni over a witness he wants to question in front of the jury. Dr. Marie Russell says she examined pictures of John O'Keefe's right arm. The jury was given the day off so Judge Canoni could hear her findings before the jury returns.
There's a combination of both what I consider bite wounds and scratch wounds on the arm. Obviously, different teeth involved or different claws. Do you know what kind of animal? Oh, yes, most likely dog, large dog.
Prosecutor Adam Lally wants to keep Dr. Russell from the jury.
Did you write a report in regard to your opinion that you testified to here today?
No.
Why not?
I don't think there was much time.
Lally says the defense is trying to sneak her in at the last minute.
Even if we have no expert testimony, I think anybody with any common sense will look at John O'Keefe's arm injuries and realize that a dog did it.
Judge Canoni is also considering limiting the testimony of two other defense witnesses. Both are accident reconstructionists the FBI used in a federal investigation of this case. Jackson says limiting them would be helpful to the prosecution.
Judge Canoni's kind of tossing softballs out to Mr. Lally to see if he can hit him out of the park. I don't even get that.
There's no trial Wednesday because of the federal holiday. The defense could begin its presentation as soon as Thursday afternoon. Karen Reed told reporters her attorneys will decide if she gets to testify. I'm Ted Daniel for your local station, Boston 25 News.
Do you guys think she's going to testify? That's literally the only question I'm going to ask about that case. Do you think that Karen Reed is going to testify? I don't know. We'll find out soon. So if you follow me on Twitter, you've probably seen me share a story of a 12-year-old girl in Houston that snuck out and was found dead shortly after that. The last video was her at a 7-Eleven getting a snack. They do have 2 suspects in that they're looking for. It's really sad, and my heart hurts for the family so much. At that age, you have no idea how much danger you're in. When I was 12, I actually ran away for 2 weeks. And I'm very grateful that nothing happened to me running the streets like that.
Well, the mother of 12-year-old Jocelyn Nungary is sharing her pain tonight. Her daughter was found dead in North Houston near West Rankin Road. That's where we find Fox 26's Randy Wallace joining us live after just speaking with her mother. Randy.
Yeah, Ross, Jocelyn Nungary's mother, Alexis, is on a mission to find her daughter's killer or killers. She spoke here at this gas station about an hour ago. She said the community support has been overwhelming. Now, Jocelyn's body was found in a shallow creek in the 400 block of West Rankin Monday morning. She had been strangled. Police believe the 12-year-old was last seen talking to 2 men in a vehicle at this gas station in the 12,400 block of Kirkendall. Houston police released surveillance photos of 2 males they call persons of interest. Jocelyn's mother, Alexis, says she doesn't recognize the pair.
I wish I did, because they would have been caught. But I have no recollection to who they are. I don't know where they came from. They look like individuals that could come out of the apartment complex I live in. It's very Latin based, and they could have came from the skate park. There's a lot of crazy people out here, and just by looking at them, you never really could know.
Now, anyone who knows the identities of those 2 should call Houston police or Crime Stoppers. Reporting live from the north side.
I like how they're like, call this, but we're not going to give you the number. Google it. The number for Crime Stoppers in Houston, it has the Houston area code. It's 713. Hold on. Now I have to look it up. Crime Stoppers Houston. I know the last 4 are tips. So 713-222-8477 is the number for Crime Stoppers in Houston. If anybody watching knows who those people in the video are, don't protect somebody that would strangle a 12-year-old girl. And moving along, there's an murder investigation in Hudson, and they have some updates on that. This is from the Tampa
At this
News.
moment in Pasco County, investigators are trying to piece together exactly what happened to a family of 4 that's been missing since Thursday. Thanks for joining us for 10 Tampa Bay this weekend. I'm Miranda Parnell. There is still an active missing persons alert for 2 Pasco County parents and their 2 children. But last night, investigators found human remains where the family was staying with a friend. That man has now been charged with first-degree murder. And 10 Tampa Bay's Chris Hurst was at the scene tonight and says deputies are still putting the facts together, but they believe this man killed the entire family.
Detectives have been out here all day at this 10-acre property in central Pasco County. The Mancinis were living there for a period of time with Rory Atwood, who tonight is in jail, charged with first-degree murder.
We pray to God they're alive somewhere,
But at the same time, as for that family, we need to find closure and we need to find justice.
Philip Zilliot, his wife Rain, and their children, 6-year-old Karma and 5-year-old Philip Zilliot III, were last seen alive late Wednesday night at a home on Nottingham Trail. A friend who was also there says an argument started and tensions rose.
Before leaving, Rain's friend hears someone say, "This is the last time this happened. You pulled a gun on us," referring to Rory.
Early Thursday morning, the sheriff says Atwood called friends, saying he killed someone. It was hours later before deputies were called, and not until Friday before relatives of the family said they were missing. The sheriff says Atwood made several admissions to detectives during the investigation before a canine found human remains on the property.
And I go back to it, those two poor little children. It's heartbreaking. We believe that they may be on the property deceased, but we do not know that definitively.
That's because they need the medical examiner to make a positive ID on the remains of multiple victims. Meantime, the missing persons alert remains active, and they're still tracking down leads.
We believe that our suspect, Rory Atwood, may have spoken to more people about this incident. So if there's anybody out there that he spoke to, please contact the sheriff's office.
One neighbor was shocked when he heard the news, telling me he would often see those two little children, Karma and Philip, playing in the front yard. In Pasco County, Chris Hurst, 10 Tampa Bay.
Very, very sad. And like, you're gonna kill a whole family over an argument? Kids. I don't understand that mindset at all. In San Antonio, speaking of not understanding mindset, a 15-year-old killed his mother. This happened yesterday or the day before. I feel like I find videos of teenagers killing their family a lot more often than I would like.
We now know the name of the mother police say was killed by her 15-year-old son. Luz Aurora Gonzalez was shot Tuesday afternoon on Delgado Street near Northwest 19th Street. Police found her son quickly and took him into custody. KENS 5 reporter Simone Simpson went to her West Side neighborhood to see what she could learn about the family. Simone?
That's right, Jeremy. I spoke with a neighbor who's lived in that West Side community for 23 years. She says she's seen the 15-year-old and his brother get into trouble before, but after Tuesday's shooting, she's in disbelief.
Happened yesterday was like a complete and total surprise.
This is what Delgado Street, the West Side neighborhood, looks like after what neighbors called the shooting Tuesday out of the ordinary.
And by the time I got down there, the ambulance was already down there, so the paramedics were performing CPR.
Juliet says the 15-year-old accused shooter and his twin brother had been in and out of trouble growing up.
Looking through cars that were left open and just being rambunctious, mischievous kids.
According to her, the brothers had a rough upbringing.
Because of the family dynamic, I only heard that, they'd been in and out of CPS issues, but they always were giving back to the mom.
For about 6 to 8 months, Juliet says the boys appeared to have been making strides to live a better life.
They were going around with a lawnmower, weed eater. They had made little cards. They were cutting grass.
Juliet thought this was a sign of them growing up, maturing. Police say it was a family argument that resulted in Gonzalez's 15-year-old son shooting her in the back of the head with a shotgun.
I believe there had to be extenuating circumstances that led to it, but to result in an argument to result like that wasn't, they could have walked away.
And that 15-year-old is in custody. We will continue following this story for any updates regarding the charges he will face. Reporting live in studio, Simone Simpson.
Yeah, that's, my mom and I did not get along at all in my teenage years and in general after I was not a little kid anymore. But I would never think to do something like that. That's horrific. That's insane. So in Texas, an ex-boyfriend put a tracker in his ex-girlfriend's car and then was able to track her and ended up shooting her. Terrifying.
Well, new tonight, Arlington police releasing dash cam images of a shootout with officers in a park earlier this month. It was the end result of a domestic violence incident. Anchor Caroline Collins joins us here tonight. And Caroline, police say the man involved wanted to kill his ex.
That's right, Anthony. It was a very scary event unfolding in north central Texas. Arlington police say that a man placed a tracking device on his ex-girlfriend's car. They broke up months before this shooting, and the woman was in her car with a guy friend when they noticed 42-year-old Shannon Boyd following them. They pulled over at the park, and Boyd told the guy to leave.
Fearing for his life, the friend did as Mr. Boyd instructed and called 911 as he left the park. Officers arrived at the park within 4 minutes. They were pulling into the parking lot. They saw Mr. Boyd display a handgun and fire 3 shots at the woman. The officers immediately exit their patrol vehicle, and 3 of them fired their service weapon at Mr. Boyd, striking him.
Well, just 3 hours earlier, police say that they found a tracking device under that woman's car when they responded to a report of a confrontation at a restaurant between Boyd and that victim. Boyd left before police arrived there. That woman is recovering at a hospital. Anthony.
All right, so Caroline, how can you know? I mean, these tracking devices, they're popular. So how do you know if one of them is actually on your car or not?
Well, that's a great question and something we should all pay attention to. So we don't know what kind of tracker that this guy used, but there are some people who used to find their keys or suitcases, maybe even find their own car. They use them themselves. Well, this can actually be put on their vehicle. And tech website Livewire says to do an inspection, look under the wheel wells. Most trackers are placed in an easy to reach location. And then you can sweep the vehicle with a bug detector. Actually, some phones have an app that can help you find those. And if you do suspect that you have a tracker on your car, but you cannot find it, you can hire a professional technician. Of course, I would hope you could figure it out with an app. But also, one more thing to add, you will get a notification on your iPhone if it's something like an AirTag. So always make sure to pay attention to.
Yeah, you will get a notification, and I think Android devices will also notify, but I don't know for sure because I don't have an Android. That's just what I heard. I didn't hit play.
Well, new tonight, Arlington police.
Excuse me, I didn't do that. So in Philadelphia, there's a few issues. One of them being a mass shooting yesterday. 7 people shot in North Philadelphia, a teenager being one of them.
It is Wednesday night. I'm Gray Hall. Shari Williams will join you tonight for the news at 11. The big story tonight on Action News is developing news. A North Philadelphia neighborhood was riddled with gunfire tonight, sending 7 people to the hospital. Action News reporter Caroline Goggin joining us live tonight outside police headquarters with the details. Caroline, bring us up to speed on what you're learning about this shooting.
Well, Gray, we have learned that the 7 people who were shot tonight in North Philadelphia, they are all in stable condition. Philadelphia police tell us right now that no arrests have been made and they don't have a motive at this point or a weapon. They say they continue to look for the person or the people responsible. The 911 call started coming in just before 6:30 for a shooting on the 2800 block of North Banbury Street.
So we believe that there's many people that were out. That's why we have so many shooting victims.
Police say 7 people were shot on this street in North Philadelphia. They say most of the victims live on this block. They were outside when a car pulled up and as many as 3 men got out. Police say 17 shots were then fired.
We believe that they shot into this crowd intentionally, and someone in the crowd may have been the intended target.
Police say the shooter or shooters left the scene in a car that was captured on a police camera in the area.
A dark-colored 4-door sedan, and it has some sort of yellow tape or plastic securing the rear trunk.
Once on scene, officers found 2 women who had been shot in the leg. They were taken to Temple University Hospital. Police say a 16-year-old girl who suffered a graze wound to the abdomen was taken to St. Christopher's. The 4 other people who were shot, 2 men and 2 women, showed up at the hospital with gunshot wounds. Tonight, police say all 7 victims are in stable condition. And right now, their search continues for whoever is responsible.
We do have additional additional police officers out there on the streets. We're going to have additional police in this area because of what happened.
And Philadelphia police tell us they're hoping to speak with the 7 victims who were in the hospital to try to get a better sense of what exactly happened in North Philadelphia this evening. Philadelphia police also tell us that they're pretty concerned about an uptick in violence as we enter this heat wave. We are live outside of Philadelphia Police Headquarters.
Yeah, the hotter it gets, the worse violence and crime gets. It's people lose their damn mind. People are crankier when they're hot, and that's why they keep like prisons pretty cold for the most part. But some Texas prisons don't have AC, which is, I feel like, asking for riots and stuff. Because I know I'm cranky when I'm hot. I don't handle the heat very well. And I definitely agree. The level of violence here is pretty damn frightening. So, I haven't seen this issue before, but I don't live in Philadelphia or Jersey or anything like that. Each area has like their own kind of culture with cars and all that other stuff. Like Houston has certain types of car with the rims that stick out. Miami has their own things, and each city has their own stuff. So in the Philadelphia area, they have something called a boom car. And they put these massive speakers in there, and they meet together and blast the music. I've seen these kinds of cars go into like a car show, but I didn't know that there was like groups of people that meet for this stuff.
They are called boom parties, and residents on both sides of the Delaware River have been complaining about the loud music and heavy bass for years, saying it is disrupting their lives. Well, now one New Jersey county is calling on Philadelphia to take action to silence them. Action News reporter Leland Pinder is live in Palmyra tonight to explain. Leland.
Yeah, Rick, Burlington County commissioners, the sheriff, and a state lawmaker sent that letter over to Mayor Parker today. Residents here in New Jersey say sometimes the music can last for hours, especially on the weekend. Now, this isn't a new problem, but officials hope a new administration across the river will be more helpful in tackling the issue. Installing these loudspeakers on top of this car can cost anywhere from $20,000 to $80,000, according to Miguel Espinal.
I do the box, I do the shirt, I do everything.
He builds these boom cars. Groups gather for parties blaring music, oftentimes at different spots along the Delaware River in Philadelphia. People on the other side in Burlington County, New Jersey, say the music is too loud.
As soon as the weather gets nice, you're guaranteed to hear boom parties at least 4 to 5 times a week.
Elected leaders in the area, led by State Senator Troy Singleton, have sent a letter to Philadelphia Mayor Sherelle Parker asking her administration to crack down on the parties.
I do believe that the quality of life initiatives that Mayor Parker are initiating, this is a natural extension of those initiatives.
A city ordinance in Philadelphia adopted last year allows police to seize vehicles or issue a $2,000 fine to owners if they're caught at these parties. But these men say it's how their community comes together. They even gather in the daytime to accommodate complaints they've received.
I don't want to play music late. I want to play music early.
Okay, so you're trying to be considerate. You feel like you're being considerate to other people.
Yes.
Residents say it's not enough. Some of the parties happen in Philadelphia City Councilman Mike Driscoll's district.
I will continue to ask the administration and the police commissioner to really enforce the law that's on the books.
And today, a spokesman for the mayor's office said Philadelphia always wants to be a good neighbor. The police department also released a statement. They said in part that the department takes quality of life issues seriously, including boom parties and boom cars. They added they will continue to address these issues in the city and those that affect neighbors across the river.
Okay, so I have never seen a speaker set up like that, where it's on top of the car. I've seen where like the entire trunk is speakers, but I've never seen where it's on top like that. That is very interesting, to say the least. All right, let's see. What else do I have for today? Dudes. Oh, Justin Timberlake was arrested for DUI. I'm pretty sure everybody has seen that. Do 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 do. Mm-mm-mm-mm. Okay. So I just have a couple more videos. So I did not know that Chevy Chase, his mom, was murdered. I had no idea, and it was a cold case. Never heard of that ever in my life. Did you guys know that?
After more than 20 years, a man is finally in custody for a 2001 cold case murder in Chevy Chase. And tonight, we know more about the relationship between the suspect and the victim.
It is a connection that has the family in disbelief tonight. Fox 5's Nana Senior Bonsu is in Montgomery County with the very latest. Nana?
Wait, there's a place called Chevy Chase?
Jim and
Okay,
Angie, good.
that makes way more sense. There's a place. I was like, Chevy Chase's mom was killed? Oh my God. Oh, regardless, in Chevy Chase, how many places is this after Chevy Chase? Like, yeah, Chevy Chase's mom's. So is this like Chevy Chase or in Chevy Chase, or she lives in Chevy Chase? The way that okay, so she lives in Chevy Chase and she's a mother. That was very weird wording in Chevy Chase's mom's. Like, I thought the wording of that, it sounds like Chevy Chase, the actor. So my bad, but hey, a cold case, 20 years old, is yeah, solved now. And in Montgomery County, but not Montgomery County, Texas. There's 70,000 Montgomery counties in the U.S.
Good evening. 23 years ago, Montgomery County police were called to a home here in Chevy Chase. They found a woman murdered in her home after she didn't show up for work. Now, for years, there were no leads until DNA that was recovered from the scene matched a familiar face.
It's been a hell of a day.
Lauren Prieur is still trying to process the man Montgomery County police say murdered her mother, Leslie Prieur, in May of 2001. 44-year-old Eugene Gligor.
He was my ex-boyfriend.
The two grew up in the same neighborhood. Lauren lived in Somerset and Eugene lived nearby in Kenwood.
We started dating when I was 15. And so his family and my family knew each other.
And never in a million years was he ever a person of interest or suspect or came to mind as the person who took your mom's life.
No, not at all.
Gligor was arrested by U.S. Marshals on Tuesday and charged with first-degree murder. Assistant Chief Nicholas Augustine with the Montgomery County Police Department says advances in technology is what helped them find him after 23 years. Detectives were able to use blood recovered from the scene in 2001 and submit it to a lab in 2022.
It's the forensic genealogy that had us get this case and be able to get a name or a DNA relationship to start to work with to try to link that to the victim.
This work that Augustine describes as very tedious that requires dedication from detectives.
We will go many years, whether it's 20 years or 40 years, to finding out the answers and holding people accountable and getting closure for violent incidents that occurred in the past.
Since her mother's murder, Lauren tells me she bumped into Gligor a year ago at a restaurant in D.C.
I've spoken to him. He didn't seem weird. And how you can look somebody in the eye and knowing that you committed this crime and act like nothing happened is pretty unreal.
And now Lauren tells me she was 24 at the time her mother was murdered. She says she's filled with a lot of different emotions, but there is a sense of relief and hopefully justice to come soon. Now, Gligor is currently in D.C. waiting to be extradited back to Montgomery County, where he will appear in front of a judge. Guys.
I'm very glad for the daughter that they were able to make an arrest, but wow, she ran into her ex-boyfriend and he's the one that killed her mom. That's crazy. But I'm also mad at this news for their title. That's what got me. Chevy Chase's moms. If they had not put the mom in there, I probably would not have assumed it was actual Chevy Chase, because it looks like it's Chevy Chase's mom. Anyway, so in Indiana, an Indy man stabbed his son to death over dirty dishes. People are just losing their damn mind. Like, yeah, that's crazy.
An Indianapolis man is in jail accused of killing his own son inside their home near the city's near west side. CBS 4's Jesse Wells spoke to the main witness, I should say, in the case, who explains what led to the violence.
According to court records, the deadly stabbing here inside this home started when a father and son began arguing about dirty dishes in the kitchen. A roommate who says he witnessed the killing wants the suspect held accountable for the senseless violence. Inside this mobile home on Friday afternoon, a father and son got into a fight and wrestled each other to the floor. A witness told police 59-year-old Timothy Lisby first tried to attack his own son with the handle of a spoon.
Tim had a spoon in his right hand, was stabbing Chris with it. Chris told me, Maya, get the spoon out of his hand, so I did.
Jeremiah Green claims the suspect then went back to the kitchen to get another weapon.
Tim went in the kitchen, grabbed something shiny, something sharp, went like that, tossed it into Chris's chest as hard as he could.
Jeremiah quickly called 911, and 31-year-old Christopher Lisby was rushed to the hospital, where he died the next day.
Chris was my friend. I love him to death. I've never seen no one bleed that bad, and that really hurt me. So when he stabbed his heart, it's like stabbing mine.
According to this affidavit, Timothy Lisby tried to save his son's life and begged him to live before paramedics arrived. Unfortunately, the victim's heart had been lacerated.
He was putting pressure on Chris, saying, don't die, don't die. Since that day, I've been crying. I can't sleep.
Police arrested Timothy Lisby on an initial charge of aggravated battery, but Jeremiah believes the case was a murder and will testify against the suspect in court.
I'm gonna do whatever it takes to put him down. Killed the only friend I had in the world. I don't have nobody. And he's gonna pay for what he did.
Finally, ultimately, it will be up to the Marion County Prosecutor's Office to file formal charges in the case. Jesse Wells.
That is the saddest thing. That poor guy, I just want to give him a hug. The fact that he had to see that and that's his only friend in the world. That makes me so sad. So I do have a couple stories in a row that do have to do with sexual assault of the elderly and sexual assault of children. So if that, I'm just warning you because pretty horrible. A 14-year-old is accused of sexually battering a 91-year-old woman. 14. 91.
And developing at noon, a shocking update to a story from last week. A 14-year-old boy is accused of sexually and physically battering a 91-year-old woman in Marion County. Our Ezzy Castro has the latest.
According to investigators, it was a neighbor surveillance video that helped deputies in this case, as well as DNA evidence, which helped them identify the suspect. Deputies say this is him, 14-year-old Jesse Stone, who was arrested just yesterday. And despite his young age, we are naming him and showing his picture due to the severity of the charges he is now facing. Deputies say it was on June 9th around midnight that Stone entered the 91-year-old's home in Reddick. They say he allegedly beat her, then sexually attacked her before he took off. According to the arrest report, the victim told deputies that a young boy by the name of, quote, Randy John had stopped by her home the day before to talk to her and described him as a good boy. She also said the boy would stop by her home when he was younger, but hadn't done so in a while. Deputies later identified the boy as Stone, and on June 13th, deputies took Stone in for questioning. They say he admitted to entering the victim's home to watch pornography before he sexually abused her.
Right now, one has brought a lot of services for the victim, anything that the victim needs, and help her any way we can, and that family, and knowing that she has quite a traumatic event that she's dealing with right now.
Last night, Sheriff Billy Woods released a statement that reads in part, "I'm very proud of the hard work that my detectives and forensics team have done on this case to bring about a quick closure. This type of unimaginable violence is still shocking to me after all of my years in law enforcement." As for Stone, he was taken to the Department of Juvenile Justice Center in Marion County. He's now facing charges of sexual battery and burglary.
It's like unfathomable that somebody, a 14-year-old, would do that to a 91-year-old woman. That's so. In Utah, a grandmother has been arrested and is accused of sexually abusing children over the last 30 years.
And a 74-year-old grandmother in Cache County under arrest and charged with child sex crimes now.
Ruth Worthen facing nearly 24 counts on allegations that could span decades. Brian Malahy has the latest information on this investigation.
Ruth Worthen has property in this rural area in Cache County. She was arrested after an investigation by the county sheriff's office that lasted more than a year. Newest digs for the grandmother, the Cache County Jail, far different than bucolic surroundings in the Hyde Park area.
And in terms of knowing the family, what kind of people are they?
Just really good Hyde Park homegrown people.
This person does not want to be identified, but says accusations against Worthen, 74, are stunning.
Just completely shocking. Completely shocking.
A probable cause statement outlines claims in graphic detail of several now adults, then kids, some of them relatives of the accused. I described the probable cause statement as disturbing. How would you describe it?
I would agree with your description.
It's alleged the abuse happened at Worthen's house, a church bathroom, maybe a turkey farm, and in some cases involved abuse by other adults. Could there be other people arrested in this case, especially perhaps her husband?
It's possible, and we will not rule that out.
Terribly sad for not only her immediate family, but extended family. My heart aches for them.
Cache County investigators say if others were abused by the grandmother, or if you have any information about the case, please give them a call. In northern Utah, Brian Malahy, KUTV 2 News.
I got my hands on probable cause documents, which say the father and the...
So, in Washington, a woman took an Uber. She was drunk, and the Uber driver did something where he was able to fake drop her off in the app, and then took her to a secluded area and sexually assaulted her. But her dad went looking for her, and her dad came across what was happening to her and rescued her. So thank God for her father, and I'm glad that the dude is, you'll see, the guy is bruised up and stuff.
family were able to stop this sexual assault by attacking the Uber driver. 58-year-old Ahmed Ali, an Uber driver accused of a heinous crime.
Where they're asking that the court find probable cause for rape in the second degree and kidnapping in the first degree.
Probable cause documents I obtained say Ali picked up a woman from a bar who was too intoxicated to get home herself. The victim relying on Ali's service as a rideshare driver to get back safely. Instead, documents say Ali used his Uber app to make it seem like he dropped the victim off, then drove here to this secluded location outside of Olympia and raped the victim.
She is fearful if he is released, or expressed that she would be fearful if he is released.
The probable cause documents say the family of the victim got worried when the woman did not return home. The father, using his phone, tracked his daughter's location to the scene of the assault and found the victim naked in the back seat of Ali's car, with Ali scrambling back to the front seat, trying to pull his pants up.
There is a substantial danger that the defendant will commit a new violent crime, and this is based on the nature of these allegations.
Documents say the victim's family beat up Ali, and at least 2 shots were fired. Investigators say Ali tried to flee the scene, despite medics saying he needed help. In court, Ali still had bandages on his hands. Near the scene of the attack, I spoke to a dad who told me it's horrifying to hear what happened to someone else's daughter on Father's Day weekend.
You know, to me, it's justice, and it should have never happened to begin with, right? That it's just disgusting, but I'm glad the dad was able to be there.
The suspect is a father himself of 5 children. The courtroom was packed with family and neighbors in support of Ali. Investigators say Ali's daughter actually reported her father missing to police on the day he's accused of raping someone else's child. A judge found probable cause for both of those crimes. They now have about 3 days to file official charges. In the meantime, Ali is held on a $100,000 bond.
Yours is actually kind of low, I think. Let's see. I'm trying to figure out my PayPal. I don't know which. I have 4 PayPal accounts for some reason because I was helping my mom too. I'm trying to see which one is actually connected to my bank account. No, stop. I don't need pop-ups. I just need to see what is here. Oh yeah, now I remember. I did look it up before. Okay, so I forgot. I did look it up, but I just didn't give my info to anybody. How do you find people on PayPal? Their username? Is that how you do it? Because my username, let's see, PayPal. So I made this when I lived in Miami. So my PayPal is Jessika305. I think that's how that works. I have no idea. I'll figure that out later. I'll add that to my link tree. I forgot to last time. Now I was like, wait, I already looked it up, and then I forgot that I did that. So a cold case was solved recently, thankfully. One that was 25 years old. And her daughter was speaking to the media yesterday about it.
News reporter Clayton Rhodes spoke with Langwell's daughter today, who was 15 years.
And Texas EquiSearch. So this is Tim Miller. He is a fantastic human being. He is wonderful. He started Texas EquiSearch after his daughter went missing and the police wouldn't help. You can learn more about him on Netflix with the Texas Killing Fields documentary. But Texas EquiSearch has found so many people and done so much. So they found her mother's remains, and then her ex-boyfriend was arrested for her murder, all, within very quickly after she was found.
Years old when she had to report her mother missing. She joins us in studio tonight, and Cladra, yesterday's discovery is bittersweet for this family.
That's right, Brenda. Jordan, Tiffany McInnes has waited 25 years for answers in her mother's disappearance. And after yesterday's discovery and arrest, she's one step closer to closure.
It's a long time coming, and I'm so very grateful to have my mother back. Not in the way that I wanted her, but to know that she's no longer being held is a good feeling.
Tiffany McInnes has waited for answers in her mother's disappearance for 25 years. She was only 15 years old when she reported her 34-year-old mother, Kimberly Langwell, missing on July 9th of 1999. McInnes contacted police after Langwell never showed up for dinner plans they had made that night.
I've known that since the day that she was gone. She's been there, so it's tough. It's tough to know where your mom is and know that there's nothing you can do.
According to a probable cause affidavit in April of 2024, a reliable informant told police that Langwell's ex-boyfriend, 67-year-old Terry Rose, admitted that she was murdered inside his home the same day she went missing. He also reportedly admitted to burying her on his property. For 4 days, BPD and multiple agencies searched his home and record business on Lindbergh. And with the help of Texas EquiSearch, they made a break in the case on Thursday.
Human remains were discovered during the search. The identity of the remains are being confirmed at this time. However, we believe they are the remains of Kimberly Langwell.
During a press conference on Friday, BPD Chief Jimmy Singletary thanked the FBI, ATF, and Texas EquiSearch for helping solve Langwell's disappearance. He also highlighted the detectives who have been on the case for decades.
For our 3 detectives that we are so very, very proud of. They stayed with this from the beginning.
For McInnes, Rose's arrest confirmed what she already feared.
Well, I don't believe that we will ever know truly what happened besides what the evidence is going to show. But I've always known that she's there.
The remains found on Rose's property are still being tested, so they haven't been officially identified. Authorities haven't said how long testing will take. Cladra Rhodes, 12 News.
Cladra, thank you. Still some unanswered questions for sure in this case. We'll keep asking them for you, working to get answers. And you can see the full Beaumont Police news conference on our 12 News YouTube page and also on our website.
And her mom, she was only 15 when her mom went missing, and she lost so much with her mom. So I just have a couple more videos. You may have seen the clips online that there was a graduation and a brawl broke out. 5 masked men showed up to the graduation, and this was for a charter school. So kids that, it's an alternative school, the kids get in trouble, and 20 of them were on probation and in custody at that time, but they were removed before this happened. So we don't know if they were involved or the people were looking for them or what, but that's terrifying.
A wild and chaotic scene at a high school graduation on Long Island. 2 people, including a student, ended up getting slashed when 5 masked men showed up at the ceremony, which is being held at Hofstra University. Eyewitness News reporter Josh Einiger has more.
Oh my gosh!
What was supposed to be a day of triumph, of joy, instead was consumed by violence. Today, as students from the Academy Charter School in Hempstead marked their graduation at this Hofstra facility, graduates resplendent in cap and gown found themselves in the middle of a brawl. At the conclusion of our graduation program celebrating the accomplishments of our scholars, a charter school official said in a statement, 5 masked men attacked a guest who attended the graduation ceremony. Officials said the guest and a student both were slashed, one on the leg and one on the ear. It happened at the MAC Sports and Entertainment Complex on the Hofstra campus, where graduation attendees had gone through metal detectors, but the attack happened outside security.
Nassau police investigators spent hours on the closed campus of Hofstra University tonight as they tried to piece all this together. They haven't said what this was all about or if they have any suspects. As for the victims, they're both expected to survive their injuries after a celebration and rite of passage turned to chaos in the blink of an eye. In Uniondale, Long Island, Josh Einiger, Channel 7, Eyewitness News.
I love that how reporters word things. But yeah, that's really crazy and terrifying. So the last story I have today is a good story. Well, kind of good. So a FedEx driver had a medical emergency while he was delivering, and they were able to, somebody saved him. A Good Samaritan helped, and I love seeing Good Samaritans.
A local state senator and his neighbor are being hailed as heroes for jumping into action and saving the life of a FedEx driver.
That driver was delivering packages in their neighborhood when he collapsed. KDKA's Shelley Bortz has the story from Bridgeville.
Mark McCullough was working from home here yesterday when his doorbell rang. When he opened this door, he could have never imagined what would happen next.
Oh, are you okay?
Mark McCullough just happened to be working from home Thursday afternoon when a package he wasn't even expecting that day was delivered to his front porch.
I came out to ask the guy how many boxes there were, and mid-syllable, he
just collapsed.
In this video shared with KDKA TV by McCullough, you see the moment after the delivery driver fell to the ground. McCullough rushed to his side to render aid and called 911.
It was a bit shocking, and I knew something was bad. He wasn't breathing, so I was just trying to like kind of open his mouth as best I could and give the 911 operator all the information as it was going on.
At that same time, Senator Devlin Robinson pulled into his driveway. When he realized what was going on across the street, he dropped everything and raced to help.
I flopped him over and saw he wasn't breathing, so I gave him a sternum rub. And that seems like what opened up his airway.
Both Senator Robinson and McCullough performed chest compressions and worked to maintain the man's pulse until paramedics arrived. Today, these two are being hailed as heroes. Instead, they believe they were just at the right place at the right time.
It was a miracle all these things happened, and I hope it's all for the best. Like, I hope this guy, don't know his name yet. I don't know anything about him other than he's has a fighting chance, and yeah, so stars did align.
Everybody should know basic first aid and CPR, because you never know what's going to happen when somebody's just delivering a package and they need help.
We've learned the man is in intensive care at this hour. In Bridgeville, Shelley Bortz, KDKA TV News.
Really? Okay, so in this, I'm gonna save this video for Saturday, because I feel like this video needs, yeah. So this was a child rapist was murdered by the victim's brother. So we'll dig into that on Saturday. I will be back on Saturday. I'm gonna save that in my watch later so I come back to it. So one video that I forgot to share that's a weird thing and not anything bad, because I don't like ending on anything bad. So I think it was in Georgia where they like put these stones and it had all this stuff on it. They were there for a while and then they disappeared. So something appeared outside of Las Vegas and nobody knows where it came from, just like those stones.
In Lilo and Stitch, aliens make their presence known with a spaceship. But what if in real life the announcement came in the form of an art installation? Yesterday, the Las Vegas Metro Police Department let folks on social media know about the appearance of a mysterious monolith on a trail north of the city. They wrote, "We see a lot of weird things when people go hiking," and asked, how did it get up there?
I've never seen this before. Always looks like a UFO was putting something down.
As you may know, this comes just 2 months after a man discovered another Washington monument-looking thing in Wales, and he said there were no footsteps around it at all.
What the heck is that?
And in 2020, many similar-looking structures were found across the world, starting with this beauty in the desert of Utah. It was spotted accidentally by wildlife officials while they were counting bighorn sheep from a helicopter.
Even going down there, they were nervous, like were they going to get teleported to another dimension or something? Upon closer inspection, this is definitely a human-made object.
But could humans have then, in the coming weeks, also dropped off more mystery shapes in Romania, England, California, and Montana? Just kidding, that's from the movie Arrival. But some reports say that year there were around 24 discovered in just a few short weeks.
I guess this is the thing now, right?
Thus, with so many popping up in 2020 and now a few more in 2024, it makes you wonder, A, do aliens just love an election year? Or B, are we all being pranked in an admirably communal worldwide effort? Well, for the internet, the latter just is not as fun. One commenter on the Las Vegas Facebook post writing, quote, "I'm not saying it's aliens, but it's aliens."
Now, the only monolith I'm 100% convinced was made by aliens is this one, guys, constructed from gingerbread. I've tried many times to make a gingerbread house, and I've never got it to be 7 feet tall. What do you guys think?
Good point.
Well, Area 51.
I think they're all from aliens.
That's over there.
Yeah.
Aliens, declassifying UFO, aliens. See?
I think it is just a bunch of people working together on the internet. Well, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. I'm going to be bouncing around between Brandy Churchwell's channel. I'm going to share her stream, and the shaming of Jay. I'm going to share that as well. So if you guys can join me on one of those channels. And also, I will be on Kick later tonight doing a little dance party. If you're not following me on Kick, please do so. I don't know what time yet, 5 or 6 p.m. I haven't decided. Definitely after the trial is done for today. Well, thank you guys for hanging out, especially you, Carrie, hanging on until the end. Yeah, I'm just going to be hanging out a little bit in the chats. I don't normally stay the whole day for the Karen Reed trial. I don't want to. I don't even want to know what's going on. I'm so good. It's like attracting a Candyman or something. I'm not trying to do all that. But anyway, thank you for being here. Love you all. Have a great day. Bye.